A very warm welcome to St Nicholas Tooting. If we haven't met, I'm the rector here. I've just got a few things to say about coming back into the church building. We're having our first service back in the church building this next Sunday, the 30th of August, hoping to have more week by week after that. And we're really looking forward to seeing you if you can come. And you'll be coming either because you're on the church email list and you've heard about it and you've decided to come. You could come by contacting our email address, which we're going to give at the end of this video, and telling us you'd like to come. We can slot you into a service where there's space. Can't promise there'll be space at every service at the moment. You could try to come just by turning up. We're going to keep a few places for people week by week so that they can do that. You'll understand, of course, that because of social distancing and hygiene, numbers do have to be limited, and therefore it's possible you might turn up and there wouldn't be space, but you're very, very welcome to try. As you'll appreciate, because we're in the middle of this pandemic, we are going to have to do things a little bit differently. We're trying to love one another by following the government guidelines and the Church of England guidelines, and the point of this video is to bring you up to speed on what it'll be like to come to church when you come, because it is going to be a little bit different. There are going to be some changes. And because of that, and because not everybody can come, not everybody feels happy yet to come, or perhaps childcare arrangements make it difficult, we're going to continue to prioritise online services week by week so you can join in church online. We're going to continue to send out postal services to those who don't have the internet. And if you want to know anything about any of those, again, be in touch with us with the contact details at the end. What will be different? Well, a few things to highlight. As you may have heard, sadly we won't be able to sing. More about that in a moment. There won't be tea or coffee or biscuits, and no hugging, I'm afraid. There won't be a provision for children's work, and there won't be a creche, just because we can't manage that with our space and distancing and hygiene and all that. So if you bring children with you and there's space for them and you've arranged to do that, I'm afraid they will need to sit with you throughout the service without wandering around because of all the social distancing stuff. And of course, I'm really aware that's difficult. I'm a parent myself, I'm aware how hard that might be, but you'll understand why we need to ask it. At the same time, again, because we recognise how difficult it is, we're continuing to prioritise online children's work, our Sunday Club and Pathfinders and youth group, older youth group. If you have a young person or child who'd like to join in with one of those, again, be in touch with us and we'll let you know about them. Preparations for coming. Good to prepare beforehand. And the first thing to address is who shouldn't come. And the first thing to say is please don't come if you feel unwell in any way. In any way, because actually it's really easy to miss the fact that you've got coronavirus symptoms when you have, and a number of people have missed them and not realised they've had it and then found out that they've had. Just to remind you that the main obvious symptoms we're reminded of by the government are a high fever, a new continuous cough, and a change or loss of a sense of taste or smell. But if you feel unwell in any way, please don't come. Over 70s and those who are more vulnerable perhaps were shielding. I think the general advice is to be wary about coming, not to come, but it is your choice. So we're fully aware of that, and you'll let us know if you want to. Again, all this is a matter of trying to look after each other, and looking after each other will mean that if anybody's ill during the service, it'll be important for you to go home, for us to help you to do that. And if you're ill after the service, it'll be important to get a test so the test and trace system can cut in and we can be told if we need to isolate and all that sort of stuff. All of it is about loving one another. However, assuming you are well, still a number of other things you can do to prepare to come to church. We're now required to wear face coverings in church, so please remember to bring one and to put one on when you come into the building. Under 11s don't need to. Those with exemptions on the government list don't need to, but the rest of us do. We won't be giving out a Bible or a word sheet when you come to church, so you might like to bring your own Bible or download a word sheet from the website. It's on the online services page on our website. Please do that if you'd like to, if you find it helpful. If you think you might need a drink, please bring a bottle of water. If you're bringing young children, you might like to bring quiet toys or colouring for them to do during the service. And it's worth saying as well that, quite frankly, it might be as well to go to the toilet before you come. Loos will be available, But again, distancing means we're going to have to queue, it's going to be slower, we want to minimize all that, it'll be inconvenient for you. So you might find it's good to be prepared. Next, travelling to church. Please do think about how you're going to travel to church. Better to avoid public transport if you can, walk or cycle. So you know there isn't going to be any parking in the churchyard, that we're going to keep, except for 2 pre-arranged spaces for those with mobility issues. So if you want to arrange one of those parking spaces, please be in touch with us again. Contact details at the end. That's if you need them. When you arrive, let's just go out to the church door and you can see what it will be like. At the church gate, and a member of the welcome team will arrange a place for you to queue, and then the queue will come in here to the lobby, and somebody here will ask you to sanitize, and we'll check your test and trace details, and then you'll come into church. There's this main central line down the forum, this first part of the church, and then the auditorium further there with the red carpet, and we ask you to follow the right-hand side of that line, just as a way of keeping distance from people. And then when you come into the auditorium, you'll be shown to a seat by a member of the welcome team. And those people who have already booked in to come to church, because you're on the email list, we've allocated seats too. So you'll be taken to a seat, and we'd ask you to sit there. Other people who turn up, we'll find seats for you if we have the space, obviously. But once you've been seated, it'd be great if you didn't move around. That's really because the government guidelines encourage us not to mix very much, even once we're in the building. So do speak to those in the rows around you, but if you cannot wander around from your row, if you can stay seated once you're seated, that'd be a great help to us in maintaining distancing, the welcome team, and so on. That would be tremendous. You might want to go to the toilet, obviously, and if you want to do that, you just come out here and keep to the right of this line, and you'll see here there are various spaces around the forum with bits of tape where socially distanced queuing. There'll be somebody here to help you do that. You'll be asked to sanitize your hands before going in. Remember to wash your hands for 20 seconds, and you might want to use the paper towels to touch the tap and the flush lever and all that sort of thing. It'll be explained when you come. If you want to go out during the service, once you've arrived, for whatever reason you might have left something outside, you need to go out, then again, please come out on the right-hand side of the main line, and the person over by that door, who's organising things with the toilets and so on, will show you out through the ramp door. Incidentally, when you arrive, if you want to come up through the ramp door, because there's a ramp here, then you can ask for that, and you'll be allowed to come up there if you need to for mobility issues or for whatever reason. So, all that said, what about what happens when the service starts? Well, we won't be able to sing, as we said, which is sad, but we are going to have people singing to us. First of all, we're going to have pre-recorded songs up on our new screen, so grateful for our new PA and AV system. In a little while, we're hoping to have some live singers up this end of the church. We're going to be working on that over the next few weeks. We are planning to have communion. We'll tell you more about how that's going to work when you come. It'll involve the welcome team helping you to move along these yellow lines on the floor in a socially distanced, hygienic way, so you can take communion in a way that's appropriate. But it'll be great, won't it, to be able to celebrate communion, share communion together, which we haven't been able to do for a really long time. At the end of the service, please remain in your seats. A member of the welcome team will come and ask you to move row by row. You'll be asked to sanitize your hands before leaving. There will be a collection box on the way out if you want to use that. We encourage you to continue to give online if you can, because that's far easier at the moment. The same guidelines are meant to operate in the churchyard as are in the church building. That is to say, we're not supposed to be mingling too much according to Church of England guidelines, but at the very least, let's remember, outside, we should only be talking to a group made up of 2 households or 6 people, even outside. Now, hearing all this is lots of rules and guidelines. It's clearly going to involve much more minimized interaction with each other than we would normally expect. It's going to be very different. We're going to be wearing masks and so on. And I suppose the point is this, that at the moment what we're trying to do is to love one another by keeping each other safe. We want to do that, don't we? It'd be a pretty bad thing if people came to church and got coronavirus just because we've been too casual about it. So that's what we're aiming to do, but at the same time, let's remember we are a church family. We want our relationships to thrive. Let's think about other ways in which we can continue to meet together. Let's continue to get together on Zoom coffee. Let's join a house group, which will be meeting by Zoom. You might like to invite another household to your home for coffee or tea or a meal. Meet in the park, meet on the common, whatever it is. Let's keep up meeting each other. Give somebody a call or go and see them on their doorstep. If you've got any questions, do be in touch with us. Remember the service times, 10:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening. Be very grateful if you arrived at least quarter of an hour before that. That is 10:15 or 5:45. And again, just to remind you, once you come into the building, all the normal things, 2 meters apart, sneeze into your arm, wear a face mask, try and touch as little as possible. We realise you've got to touch some things, and so on. If you want to know more, go onto our website, www.stnicholastooting.org.uk, or contact us on our email address, support@stnicholastooting.org.uk, or phone us on 020 8767 8033. Do hope this has been helpful. Really look forward to seeing you soon.